What's the most terrifying confession you've ever heard? Okay, I never thought I'd be sitting here writing this, but I promised myself I'd get this off my chest because it's honestly been eating me alive. A few months ago, I started dating this girl, Mia. We met through mutual friends and hit it off immediately. She was funny, smart, beautiful, and just had this vibe that made me feel like I could tell her anything. Things got serious quickly, and after a few weeks of dating, she invited me over to her place late one night. We were chilling, having some drinks, and eventually the conversation got deeper than usual. That's when it happened. Out of nowhere, Mia goes, "I need to tell you something. It's something I've never told anyone." My heart was racing because I could tell this was heavy for her. She took a deep breath and blurted out, "I grew up in a cult." I'm not talking about a quirky we did a weekly book club that felt culty kind of thing. No, this was full-on creepy hidden basement type cult stuff. She said it was a survivalist cult that believed the government was coming to wipe out humanity, and they had to live underground, survive off the grid, and basically sever all contact with the outside world. She escaped when she was 16, but said the psychological effects were still raw. And that was just the start. She told me the cult wasn't just paranoid, they were violent. She described how at night her family would perform brutal rituals like forced confessions, beatings, and terrifying punishments if someone stepped out of line. She admitted she had to lie about her age and identity for years to escape the reach of the cult. But the thing that shocked me the most was when she confessed she'd been marked like a permanent scar that the cult used to keep track of their members and control them. And this had haunted her every day since. I was floored. I didn't know what to say. I just sat there, trying to process it all. My whole mind was spinning. It suddenly explained her occasional panic attacks, her weird episodes where she'd freeze or get distant during the day. But then, just as I was starting to feel overwhelmed, she said something completely chilling. "They're still looking for me. Sometimes I think they're watching me, and I swear last month someone was parked outside my apartment for 3 days straight." I don't think it was just a coincidence. I wasn't gonna lie, I started getting scared too. What if the cult really found her? What if she was still in danger? I asked why she never called the cops or tried to get help, and she just looked at me with these sad eyes and finally said, "They control so much. If I get caught, they'll hurt the people I love. And I can't let that happen." At this point, I had no idea what to do besides promise her that I'd help keep her safe if I could. For weeks, I put on that protective boyfriend role, watching her like a hawk. Then, one night, as paranoia peaked, I decided to surprise her by checking out the car parked suspiciously nearby. What I found turned the entire story upside down. There was no creepy stalker car. The 3 days straight was just some guy who lived in the building. I confronted Mia about it, trying to understand why she made it up, and her response was, honestly, a mix of relief and shame. She broke down and told me something I never expected: the cult, the violence, the scarf, they were all fabrications. She said the cult was a story she created to explain away years of severe emotional abuse from her toxic family and some issues with addiction she'd been hiding. The mark was actually a burn from when she was a kid, but she hated how people stared at it. So the cult story was her way of reclaiming control, of twisting the narrative into something she felt made sense. Her paranoia wasn't cult-induced. They were panic attacks fueled by mistrust and unresolved trauma. She was, in her own words, a mess, trying to turn a broken past into a kind of myth. It was the most terrifying confession I'd ever heard, not because of criminals or cults, but because of how deep someone can get lost in their own mind to survive. I wasn't sure how to feel at first. Betrayed? Confused? Sad? But I realized she needed help, not judgment. So we started going to therapy together, and she's been working hard ever since. Here's the ultimate twist for you guys.